Myntri Rangbah kejala ukonrat ki sangma hak arpau tarik unai wiang ula pli patba yak Integrated Command and Control Center ha Umsawli Shillong ha kajingadan lang usimbut Myntri Rangbah ubakmi yak tanal urban ubak singa bahalang dhar u Chief Secretary ba DP Waklang, Director General of Police kong Ida Shisha Nongrang, Commissioner and Secretary Urban Affairs Vijay Kumar, but u Commissioner and Secretary Information Technology u Pravin Bakshi. Habakran ha kajingalang Myntri Rangbah ulaong bak Integrated Command and Control Center ICCC kade kajabir jong Shillong Smart City barok kaway. Kani kade karansan kabanla ban penyaso bat kiway pat kikam kibade bat Information Technology bat kolong ru ka Application Programming Interface API kabolong kham karpang bat kajingla trekam jong ka ICCC kalong kabayar bat kani ka center kanlong kum ka atyar ka banyarap ban shimikirai ki badai bat hakapur ka babiang ulaong. Ka Meghalaya kade banlong ka data center hub amtang jong ka than shatay la mingi henry jong ka la mingi hi barok kaway namar ngidan ya kalat ka kabu halor kani ka benta bat penpau ru baka sorkar kalabu ya u optical fiber haman laki block bat ki district bat ya kaba an penyaso bat ka ICCC. Ngidang trebor ba ru ban pentikna bangin la ban penyat ya ki submarine cable ha Shillong bat kathong ka jongi kalong ban penyaso ya man laki block bat man laki district ha ka rukam jong ka IT network ka bapura ulaong. Ulaong baka ICCC kan penkut bor na kabenta ban wanra ya ka jing ajing syakri ha ka rukam ka bakhambiang na markam day tang banyo ya ka smart city henry ru ka smart governance. Haba penkut ulaong kanong ba kala banlong ka basyampang tang lada baro ki ay ka jingat lang amtang ban penlong ya ka smart city henry kanong ba ka bakra. Ki jaka sor kum katura bat ka juai ru kinsa penyaso lang bat ka ICCC ha kini kisnam ki banwan ula benram. Ki benta ki bakong san jong ka ICCC Shillong ki kentup ya ka ICCC platform ICCC ringkat ka monitoring workstation kabadan ya ka video wall 30-seater operator bat arpau teliki workstation data center collaboration solution and contact center city network. Katba ki smart elements jong ka ICCC ki kentup ya ka city surveillance system ringkat ka video analytics solid waste management system intelligent traffic management system city Wi-Fi public address system, emergency call box with public address system, variable message display, smart pole but smart street lighting.
Before we came here to this particular inauguration, as was mentioned by our Deputy Chief Minister, that we have taken a tour of the new administrative city. And you can quite visibly see that, the IT park, which is just in front of us, which has, maybe giving employment to close to about 2,000 plus of our youth. And the second phase of that IT park is just below that, which will add another 3,000 to 4,000 seats. And overall indirect and direct employment of maybe close to 10,000 people. This is a great project, and we are really hopeful that this particular second phase of this IT project should be completed maybe somewhere towards the end of the next financial year, and we should be able to see more and more companies come in. There's a huge demand for the manpower which we have in our state. The problem and the issue is with the logistics and the ecosystem, and we're hopeful that this IT park will add to that. And this was a very important project, and I'm happy to see that it's moving in the right direction. In fact, the civil work is almost done. Now the interiors will take anything between 6 months to about 12 months to complete. Apart from that, we have just seen the work start now for our Unity Park. So you will see that it's about a close to 200 crores plus project. That project also, if you can see just across the valley, the work is started for the Unity Park. This again will be a very unique Unity Mall, It's again a very important project from Government of India's perspective, where these Unity Malls will be there throughout the country, and different states will have different stalls and space to show their products and the people to get experience about different states of our country. So this Unity Park is a very, very important project, and we are hopeful that the first phase should be completed somewhere towards the end of next financial year, and then the second phase hopefully towards the end of 2026 financial year. So that's a very important project. Just in between that mall, the Unity Mall, and this ICCC that we are seeing, we intend to put up 5-star and 4-star hotels out here, because this will be a very important administrative city, and we hope to work on a PPP mode. We are hopeful that we should be able to close this chapter also within this financial year and have the 5-star and 4-star hotels and some budget hotels also coming up here, because obviously there's going to be a lot of economic activity taking place, and that connectivity, that particular infrastructure will be very crucial for us. Behind us and going forward, we are going to be putting up what we're calling the Skills Park. This again, the foundation has already been laid by the Honorable Vice President. It's an 80 crore project. The work for this also will be allotted within the next month or so, and work should start by January or February. And that is again going to be a very, very important aspect of the training, the entrepreneurship, the skilling of our youth, which will then be the source for the IT park and the other kind of industrial growth and development that we are expecting in our state. So the Skills Park is a very important part. Right opposite the Skills Park, we'll be having what we call the Prime Hub. And this Prime Hub is of course the entrepreneurial center. I also want to share with you that entrepreneurship and skilling is becoming a very, very important part of our system and of the overall governance. And as you're aware, we are right now running everything through what we call the Labor Department. And today, Labor Department has become very, very broad, because skilling, entrepreneurship, labor issues, laws, all of this are being handled in one space. So we are very keen that very soon we should be having a department of entrepreneurship and skilling coming up in our government, which we feel will be a very important game changer, especially keeping in mind the entrepreneurship potential as well as the skilling potential that we have. Far beyond across, when you see the highest point in the peak, where you can see from this entire area, is where the secretariat is going to come up. So we're going to have the secretariat and the directorate on that hilltop, and that's again the ambitious project that our Honorable Deputy CM has just mentioned to you. And that is going to be something that is going to be again another game changer, because it's going to be a very modern building. In fact, all the buildings here are going to be modern buildings, because that's what we want this space to be. We want it to be a very, very modern and a futuristic administrative city. And the secretariat and the directorate that is going to come up is going to be obviously of very, very high standards. In fact, the road that is going to go from here and connecting the secretariat and other infrastructures that are coming up, those are also going to be very, very modern. These are roads that will have everything from a cycling track to a walking track to a green space to the utility ducts. So it will be a very broad road having all the different kind of facilities. So we are trying to make this entire zone and this administrative city into a modern city, keeping in mind the next 50 years, if not 100 years of overall governance, and making sure that the requirements are seen from that kind of a futuristic view, and we are able to give the kind of infrastructure today, keeping in mind the needs of the next 50 to hopefully another 100 years. So why I'm telling you all of this is because that is a kind of vision with which today this government is working. And I must also congratulate and thank the government of India for their support. Remember, 50% of this is funded by Government of India, and we have taken special permission from Centre to inaugurate this. Otherwise, normally we would have a central minister or the Prime Minister himself inaugurate this project, but we have got the necessary NOC to go ahead, because it's been pending for very long. So with this kind of a thought process today, we are seeing the administrative city and this entire concept of really shifting our administration from the current Shillong city here so that we are able to ultimately have the decongestion that we can and we need in Shillong in the long run, but more importantly provide a modern and a very good and strong infrastructure based administrative city for the coming generations, and also obviously provide the necessary economic activities along with it. As you're aware, apart from the administrative city, we have the knowledge city coming up in Maukunu, which will have everything from different kind of institutes, different kind of centers of excellence. We will be having a sports center out there, which will also have the largest football stadium in the country, a dedicated football stadium with a capacity of more than 40,000 spectators. And that is being done obviously with a vision to ultimately make Shillong and Meghalaya the soccer capital of the country. So that's the kind of thought process with which this is happening. And I thought that it's important to give a small glimpse to all of you so that you can start connecting to what is happening and how we're working. So it'll be good to take a picture of the landscape out here, because in a year's time, the entire landscape is going to change. You will see the Unity Mall, you will see the Secretariat coming up, you will see the Skills Park, you will see the Prime Hub coming up, you will see the IT Park second phase being completed, and many other infrastructures which will come up in this entire zone. And also to top it all up, we'll be having the heliport right on top out here so that choppers can land directly in this particular area. You're also aware that we have connected one road already going from here straight to Dingpaso, the bypass, so that we get direct access into the airport, and people can come straight from the airport into this part of the city without having to go through the current Shillong city. And then you're also aware that we have recently spoken with Government of India to now extend the runway of the Shillong the Shillong Umroi Airport, so that the larger aircrafts can land. And that, as I said, is going to be a major game changer. So what I'm trying to tell you is that none of this is happening in a piecemeal basis. This is part of a much larger plan and vision that we have for our city and for the state and for the people. And it is being planned out and implemented in a very structured manner. Sometimes it's difficult for us to explain to people what we're trying to do. It's only when you see it, then you believe that, yes, this is what is happening. For example, I remember when this ICCC issue came up, there was a big article somewhere or some post that came up saying that government is spending 200 crores on 300 CCTV cameras. And it was impossible for me to explain that what ICCC was. And I explained it, but people still did not understand and could not grasp what it was. But today when you see this building, you see the entire war room, the control room, the entire data center, the conference hall. You can see the kind of work and the investment that has taken place today. And as correctly mentioned by our Chief Secretary, that this is actually the brain of the entire smart city, where the entire information is going to be brought in out here. And what is important to remember regarding the ICCC is that this is a platform. This is a technology. This is an area or a space which can act as a connection to different kind of activities going on in the IT field. So, we have this entire access of the application programming interface, which we call the APIs. So the APIs are open, which means that tomorrow, if there's a different programming being done in the language, which may not be same with what this ICCC, works on, we can still integrate it because it is an open API, and that is what makes it very special. As was being mentioned, today we are working with the Forest Department, for example, today to connect the importance between the rainfall, the forest cover, and the springs. And we are having technology today in the Forest Department, which we're going to implement very soon, where we have, first of all, we have mapped all the springs. 7,000 springs in the state have been mapped. We know exactly where the springs are through LIDAR, through drone, through satellite. But now the next step for us is to now place different kind of sensors in each of the springs, which will then send us data, exactly live data on what is the centimeter or millimeter of water that is there, and we'll be able to monitor each spring in the coming years. We hope that we should be able to complete that project, in months and the years to come. And once that happens, we actually can monitor the actual water levels that are there in the city, in the state, in different springs. Now, how does that matter? Because obviously when we want to connect that to the Integrated Command and Control Center, so that once we are able to get all of this information, it should be in one place, and the decision makers should be able to see all of this and be able to quickly decide on what has to be done next. So that's the power of IT, and that's how we want to move forward. So the uniqueness of this technology is that this is a platform, and yes, the potential is immense. So, tomorrow somebody may say, well, what happened? You started the ICCC, but we still have traffic jam. Of course, you will have traffic jam. Opening a ICCC doesn't mean the traffic will stop tomorrow. But it is a mechanism and a technology that can assist us in making the right decision and timely decisions, and intervene at the time where we can reduce the traffic. Like rightly said by our Chief Secretary, you imagine, and it's going to happen, by the way, it's not just imagination. It's going to happen. Now, we already have the drones. I don't know if you know this or not, but we have a drone center in the Secretariat. So this drone center is independent. Even today, we have live feeds coming in from the drones into that particular center for all the traffic. So we have drones flying in the air, and we see the traffic that is their information. But that information is not being able to come into a kind of a unified system, and that information is not going to the traffic police in a handheld device so that he or she can make the decision on what has to be done, or the SP traffic, what has to be done. That information they're not able to take. But now, this particular ICCC will allow the footage of the drone to come into the center in the Secretariat, pass it on to the information here, and from here we will spread it across to the necessary traffic police or the SP, and they will be then able to make the decision. So please do remember, technology is only as good as it is applied. Technology in itself means nothing. Technology is only a system or an assistant for us to be able to decide on the right way at the right time to take the right decision. And therefore, having this ICCC doesn't mean traffic will stop tomorrow. Traffic will continue. But question is, how do we use this information now to make the decisions to now reduce the traffic? And that's what really this entire thing is about. So I'm very happy that we've started this ICCC. Now the departments have to work closely with the IT department and this ICCC to then use this technology, allowing their people to make the right decisions at the right time. So I urge the IT department, the urban department, the police department, urban municipal department to sit down, work out the SOPs, work out the protocols and the systems in place so that this technology which is now available can be used for the betterment of Shillong City and actually make it smart. Having said that, the future of what we're going to do out here is again immense. Now I just want to share with you that the ICCC is one part of the entire big canvas that we're trying to create. Our second part, while we do this, is to now create a massive data center out here. So that's going to be our next step. Now why data center? Just to share with you. So this is about 1,500 TB of data can be stored out here in this data center out here. Now that 1,500 TB of data can last for maybe about 1.5 months of all the videos that we record. But beyond that, this data center will not be able to handle more than 1.5 to 2 months of information. So we need to then delete the data. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we need a larger database. Tomorrow I have all the information of all the different waters and the springs coming in. This data center cannot hold that data. And hence, a massive data center is required to be able to bring all of that data into this location and store it. And it's not just about Meghalaya. I am hopeful that in the coming years, Meghalaya should become the data center capital of the region as a whole. And not just Northeast, but of the entire Eastern region. Because we have the potential to do it. So this data center is going to come up right out here. When that comes in, all the data, information, programs, all the apps of all the departments will be right here. Number two, we are putting up optical fiber connectivity and last mile connectivity to every block. So this is something I want to share with you. The work is going on right now. Every block, every civil SDO office, every PHC, CHC, and hopefully every government school and college at the end, maybe not immediately, will be connected through Wi-Fi or optical fiber in the coming days and months. We are already going to finish the first phase where certain districts will already be on optical fiber, and that again will connect to something like an integrated command and control center right here. So you can imagine all the districts and all are wired with optical fiber all the way to the blocks, and we'll be able to connect that, and that last mile connectivity of the optical network fiber will be done. And I'm hopeful that in the next 12 to 18 months, we should be able to complete that project. The third part of this entire plan that we have is then to connect all of this into a large pipe. Now we know that without bandwidth, nothing will happen. So just to share with you, we are working very aggressively from the IT department to ensure that we are able to land what we call the submarine cables right here in Shillong. Now, submarine cables right now are in Chittagong, and they are of course in Tripura through Bangladesh. They are in Chennai, I think in Mumbai, a few other locations, and it's very difficult to pull that out here. But Chittagong and the lines that we have from down south, we should be able to get the optical fibers to land here in partnership with PGCIL, and that's Power Grid India Corporation Limited. And once that happens, so you can imagine the optical fiber, the submarine cables landing into the integrated command and control center, with the data center being here, with all the optical fibers reaching all the blocks, all the schools, all the hospitals, all the government offices, so that we are in a complete IT network. That is what we want to achieve in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, once that happens, these IT parks behind you are no longer going to be just simply IT parks where we're going to be having call centers. These are going to be data assessing, programming places which do data analytics, which use AI, all the necessary other study that has to be done, or because data is everything today, you see, and we have a lot of data. The question is, what do we do with the data? What this data can help us with? And that is what AI does for us, and that is what data analytics does for us, and that is what helps us to be able to create what we call predictable models. And these predictable models then allow us to then make decisions in a better manner. So you can imagine that today, if I have got information of all the patient records coming in, and we feed it into the AI and the data analytics, it will then tell me and tell the health department, after years, when we have enough data, that, well, the department should send diarrhea medicines to this particular district in this particular month, because our data shows that the history of Meghalaya, the diarrhea or the patient records have been affected by this ailment in this district. And that's the kind of power that we are hopeful that this one office that we are setting up here will ultimately give us the power for doing this entire governance in a much more smarter manner. And that's really when it's not about just smart city, it's about, at the end of the day, a smart governance that we want to do. So I just wanted to share this thought process, because we don't get to talk too much and share this, and just to let you know that this is the kind of talks we have almost every day with the IT department, and I'm sure the IT department is very overburdened with the kind of push that we're giving them, that we need to achieve this in the next 18 months to 2 years. But I'm so happy to see that we are on the right track, and ultimately we are at this point in time where we have inaugurated this particular ICCC project today in Shillong. But to conclude, I just want to share with you that none of this will make any sense, as mentioned by our Deputy Chief Minister, that nothing will make sense unless the people are part of this, unless the community is a part of this. So no matter what technology we use, it is about the people. So we need to ensure that we are able to sensitize the minds and and the hearts of the people, so that we are able to really use this and realize that a city can only be smart when the people together, we all work together in order to make it a smart city. It's not about just being a smart city. It's about being a great city. It's about being a city that is happy. And I think all of this will come only when the citizens of our city are coming together with the government. Yes, there will be problems. We don't disagree with that. There will be issues, and we need to resolve issues, and we can resolve them if we work together. But I think the positive mindset that we need to create is something that I would really like to urge. I was listening very carefully to the speech of our headman, and there is a sense which you mentioned out here is correct, that when something happens, we tend to look at it in a very critical manner, and when, sometimes in a negative manner. I think it's important to create that positivity and realize so much is happening today in our city and in our state, and we need to be part of this. We need to support this, and it's only then can we make it successful. I was just talking to my political secretary, Daniel, and he was telling me today that he was so happy to see that the Upper Shillong, finally the 4-lane has, one section is opened up. So actually from Umsawli to Upper Shillong, if you know, that construction was going on for 4-lane. So today actually some vehicles were plying on one section of the 4-lane also. I'm sure there's a lot of work left to be done. But small things like these today, are really signs of the positive step that we're taking forward. But as I said, for us to be able to feel that positivity, it has to happen throughout the city. It has to happen through every citizen, and everybody must be involved. Please do criticize us, but criticize in a way that it's positive, with a solution and a suggestion that's saying, look, this is the problem, why don't we try this? So therefore, I think this kind of a mindset is something I would like to take an opportunity to appeal to our citizens that we should work together to make it happen. Cleanliness is something very important for us. Chief Secretary has been working on it tirelessly, but again, we have not been able to reach to that point in time where we are able to really find a solution to that. But small steps are being taken, and I really support his idea of having that citizen-centric app connected to the ICCC, so that people can then send pictures and information to us about different, maybe garbage being thrown by some individuals. So the cameras which we require in every locality, those mobile phones will become our eyes and ears, and this will be the platform through which we integrate all that information. A small information I also want to share is that we are starting a small program. It's a really small program, but I feel it's a very important program. Is that with the development committees of the different cities and in different committees in the Shillong city and Tura and Jowai, we want to start a program called Painting Our City. So I've been complaining about this for the last 3 years, that there's so many government buildings, so many private personal buildings, so many community buildings, and somehow people have completed the building, but nobody bothers to paint it. And it's a big eyesore. So I have urged the Urban Affairs Department that an order must be given to all the departments. Please paint your walls, paint your buildings, maintain your boundary, maintain your campus area to central government, and we'll work with the different development committees to give financial support to them, to let the public also, their houses be painted, and will financially support. But I strongly feel that this one small step could go a long way in developing this culture of cleanliness. Because what happens if we have a cleaning drive, one day we do it, and we see the next day it's clean, but the third day again it goes back to normal. But when you paint a building, it remains for at least 6 months to 1 year. So you actually, as a human being, feel good that, oh, I did this, and it's making a difference. So I really want to start this Painting the City program, where I want to urge the localities to partner with us and support us, and also the government departments must do it, and let us start painting and keeping the city clean by keeping our boundary walls and our buildings painted and maintained. I know it may not happen in one go, but wherever we can, I urge that that we should start this, and of course Urban Affairs Department is already working on this plan, and I'm hopeful that it will happen very soon. So once again, I really would like to thank and congratulate everyone on the successful inauguration of this. I urge some of you to please go and see the different kind of work that is going on inside, and to get a feel of what Integrated Command and Control Center looks like. Then I guess you'll get a sense of appreciation of what we're looking at. And once again, congratulate our Deputy Chief Minister, our CS, Urban Affairs, IT Department, the CEO, and the implementing agencies, the contractors, all those who are involved in making this particular project a great success. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God bless our beautiful state of Meghalaya. Thank you very much.